game Face to Face has two players playing cards in order to be the first to empty their deck. This is the two-player version of the game, and I haven't had the chance to play the original. I have played a similar game from this publisher called The Mind, and I'll compare their mechanisms a bit later on. Pandasaurus Games provided this in exchange for an honest review. These starting cards go in your player area and make up the discard piles. On your turn, play a minimum of 2 cards on either of your discard piles. If you play one on the 60 to 2 card, it has to be lower than the previous card. If you play one on the 1 to 59 card, it has to be higher than the previous card. For example, you decide to play 3 cards on your first turn. Play 46 on the 60 to 2 card, then 11 and 12 on the 1 to 59 card. Draw 2 cards at the end of your turn, no matter how many you played. That's a pretty basic turn. Let's look at the 10 rule. Continuing from the last example, let's say you drew a 2 and a 56. This is an incredible draw. Why? Well, remember how I said you're limited by whatever cards are on your discard pile? Let's change that. Play the 2 on the 12 and the 56 on the 46. You can go backwards on either discard pile as long as you played a card precisely 10 higher or lower. The game ends when your draw deck is empty and you play your final cards. Let me show you another trick. You must play at least 2 cards on your turn, but they don't have to be on your piles. That's right, toss a useless card on your opponent's deck or just try and get them stuck. If a player cannot play 2 cards, they immediately lose, so make things hard on them. You may not play more than 1 card on an opponent, and if you play a card on them, draw your hand back up to 6 cards. This is a good way to burn through your deck and get more options in your hand. When playing a card on an opponent, it must improve the pile, making the ascending pile lower and making the descending pile higher. Play cards on your 2 piles or your opponent's, and race through the deck before them without getting stuck. That's the game Face to Face. Our games of the game Face to Face, including Setup and Takedown, have averaged just over 20 minutes. Player areas are the size of a paperback book. This is super easy to play just about anywhere. If they know their numbers well enough, the rules are simple enough for an experienced 5 or 6-year-old gamer. If you can play card games like Rummy, you can handle this. In our 5th game of the game Face to Face, me and my good friend Ariel played over Tabletop Simulator. While I was waiting for her to log on, I told Dad that I was gonna crush her. Well, I overlapped my discard piles quickly and Ariel was not helping me. Thanks a lot. So I got stuck and lost. I did much better in game 2. Unfortunately, Ariel was doing a great job of thinning her deck, which was worrying. I got down to 1 card in my deck plus the 6 in my hand. For a brief moment, I thought, I can win this, before realizing I was stuck again. The game Face to Face's box is small enough to fit into a purse. I mentioned earlier that you can play this just about anywhere. Have the simple rules and fast playtime, and you have something perfect for indoor recesses, lunch, or whenever you like. A card game needs clean graphic design, and that's certainly the case here. The numbers and arrows mean you won't get mixed up in the heat of the moment. The hand cards have corner numbers, which means you can fan them out and make in-game decisions quickly. This may be a quick and simple game, but that doesn't mean decisions are easy. Players prone to analysis paralysis can not only slow things down, but might not enjoy the feeling this game creates. AP is when you freeze when you need to make decisions. On the flip side, kids and even adults who have difficulty handling losses might not be too upset because you can just reshuffle and restart before they can dwell on things too long. The game Face to Face has hand management that offers player choice, replayability, and a neat mechanism that allows you to help or hurt your opponent. I mentioned in my review of The Mind, which I'll link to at the end of this video, that I prefer at 2 players. That's a co-op deduction and pusher-like game where you have to use the knowledge of what's been played and what you have, plus what others play to figure out what card to play. Here, you can still deduce what's in your deck, but your opponent can throw a wrench in things. Of course, they may help you at times, and you can always stick it to them as well. This and The Mind are similar in the way that they're both by Pandasaurus Games, and that they're also both hand management card games where you're ascending/descending in numerical order. I do like The Mind more though, because there you're deducing what everyone has in their hand. I personally prefer The Mind, but I'm now interested in trying the full version of the game so I can compare whether I prefer it at low player counts too.